Have you ever found yourself sitting in your favorite chair, the house quiet around you, and suddenly felt the weight of loss so heavy it's hard to breathe? Maybe it's the absence of a loved one's laughter, the empty space at the dinner table, or even the loss of a routine that once gave your days meaning. Loss can feel like a storm that never quite passes, can't it? But here's what I want you to know. You're not alone, and peace isn't as far away as it might seem. Today, we're going to talk about finding peace after loss, a journey that's not about forgetting or moving on, but about gently tending to your heart, step by step. Whether you've lost a spouse, a dear friend, a pet, or even a chapter of your life that's closed, this is a safe space to breathe, reflect, and begin healing. Together, we'll explore simple, compassionate ways to honor your grief while rediscovering moments of calm and connection. Let's start with the first step, acknowledging the pain without letting it define you. Grief can be like an old suitcase. If you ignore it, it just gets heavier. I remember talking to my friend Margaret after her husband passed. She said, "I kept rearranging the furniture, volunteering, baking pies for the grandkids, anything to stay busy. But one day, I realized I wasn't feeling anything. I was just running." Sound familiar? Here's the thing. It's okay to slow down, to sit with the memories, the tears, even the anger. You don't have to be strong for anyone. In fact, giving yourself permission to feel is where healing begins. Try this. Set aside 10 minutes each morning with a cup of tea and a journal. Write down one memory that makes you smile, or one thing you wish you could say to your loved one. It's not about fixing anything. It's about letting your heart speak. Now, the second step, creating small rituals of connection. Loss can make the world feel lonely, but rituals can bridge that gap. Take my neighbor, Carl. After his wife died, he started tending her rose garden. At first, it was painful. Every bloom reminded him of her. But over time, it became his way of saying, "I'm still here, and so is your love." You don't need a garden to do this. Maybe it's lighting a candle at dinner, playing their favorite song while you fold laundry, or writing them a letter every month. These acts aren't about clinging to the past. They're about keeping their presence alive in a way that comforts you. And that brings us to step 3, leaning on your community, even when it's hard. So many of us were raised to handle things ourselves, weren't we? But grief isn't meant to be carried alone. Think of it like this. When you were young, did you ever sit on a porch swing with a friend, not saying a word, but feeling better just because they were there? That's the power of quiet companionship. Reach out to someone who'll listen without judgment, a neighbor, a support group, even a counselor. If the idea of talking feels overwhelming, start small. Invite a friend over for coffee and say, "I'd love some company today." You'd be surprised how many people are waiting for a chance to show they care. Loss changes us. There's no way around that. But it doesn't have to steal your joy forever. These first steps are about making space for both grief and hope, like planting seeds in a garden you tend day by day. In the next part, we'll talk about how to rediscover purpose, embrace moments of lightness, and honor your loved ones by living fully, even when your heart still aches. But for now, I'll leave you with this. Healing isn't a race. It's okay to take today slowly. You're doing better than you think. You know, I used to think that after a loss, life became a series of before and after moments, like a book split into 2 halves. But over time, I've learned it's more like a tapestry. The threads of love, memory, and even grief weave together, creating something still beautiful, even if it's different than we imagined. Let's talk about step 4, rediscovering purpose in unexpected places. After my brother passed, I felt untethered. We talked on the phone every Sunday for 40 years, and suddenly, Sundays felt hollow. But one afternoon, my granddaughter asked me to teach her how to knit, something I hadn't done in decades. As we sat there, tangled in yarn and laughter, I realized, purpose doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as sharing a skill, listening to a friend, or even caring for a houseplant that thrives under your attention. Maybe you've lost a role that once defined you, a caregiver, a partner, a busy professional. That's natural, but think of this as a chance to ask, what gentle whispers has life been sending me? Maybe it's finally joining that book club, tending a windowsill herb garden, or mentoring a young neighbor who needs advice. These small acts aren't just distractions. They're ways to remind yourself, I still matter. I still have light to give. Now, step 5. Allowing yourself moments of lightness, even when grief is present. Guilt often sneaks in here, doesn't it? How can I laugh when they're gone? But here's the truth. Joy and sorrow can coexist. They're not opposites. They're companions. Take my friend Helen. She lost her husband 2 years ago, and for months, she refused to go to their weekly dance class. But one day, her daughter convinced her to put on her favorite jazz record. Mom, she said, Dad wouldn't want you to stop living. Helen told me. I danced alone in the living room that day, and for the first time in ages, I felt free. It's okay to savor a sunrise, to lose yourself in a crossword puzzle, or to relish a slice of pie without guilt. These moments don't erase your love for the person you lost. They honor it, because a life well lived is the greatest tribute you can offer. And that leads us to step 6, honoring your loved ones by living fully. This doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It means asking, how can I carry their legacy forward in a way that feels true to me? A man named Tom wrote to me after his wife died of Alzheimer's. For years, he'd been her primary caregiver. When she passed, he felt lost without the routine. But then he started volunteering at a memory care center, reading to residents every Thursday. It keeps her spirit alive, he said. And in a way, it keeps me alive too. You might not volunteer or start a project, and that's okay. Honor could mean adopting their love for bird watching, donating to a cause they cared about, or simply telling their stories to your grandchildren. The key is to let their influence shape your days in ways that feel meaningful, not obligatory. Grief has a way of narrowing our vision, making us believe the best days are behind us. But what if they're not? What if the love you carry for them, for the life you built together, can still guide you toward moments of wonder, connection, and even renewal? In the final part of our conversation, we'll explore how to build a new rhythm for your days, embrace gratitude without forcing it, and find peace in the quiet moments. But until then, I hope you'll take this to heart. Healing isn't about leaving the past behind. It's about weaving it into the life you're still living, one stitch, one step, one sunrise at a time. There's a quote I've always loved. Peace is not the absence of storms, but the calm we find within them. And isn't that what we're all searching for? Not a life without loss, but a way to breathe through it, to find stillness even when the waves keep coming. Let's talk about step 7, building a new rhythm for your days. After loss, routines can feel meaningless. The morning coffee for 2 becomes a solitary cup. The evening walks feel too quiet. But rhythm isn't about filling every moment. It's about creating small anchors that ground you. Take my cousin Ruth. After her husband died, she couldn't bear their morning crossword ritual. But one day, she swapped the crossword for a gratitude list. Just 3 little things. The smell of fresh coffee, the way sunlight hit her favorite chair, the cardinals singing outside. Over time, those lists became her compass. They didn't erase the loneliness, but they reminded her that beauty still existed, right there in the ordinary. Your rhythm might look different. Maybe it's stretching for 5 minutes when you wake up, calling a friend after lunch, or watching the evening news with a bowl of soup. These anchors aren't about staying busy. They're about saying, I'm here, and today deserves my presence. Now, step 8, embracing gratitude without forcing it. I know. Gratitude can sound like one of those buzzwords people throw around when they don't know what else to say. But hear me out. This isn't about slapping a smile on your face or pretending everything's okay. It's about noticing the tiny sparks of goodness that still flicker, even on hard days. A viewer named Harold shared this with me. After my wife died, I resented everyone telling me to count my blessings. But one night, I couldn't sleep, so I stepped outside. The sky was full of stars, brighter than I'd seen in years. And for a moment, I felt awe. Not gratitude, exactly. Just wonder, like the universe was saying, look how big life still is. You don't need to force thankfulness. Just stay open. Maybe it's the warmth of a grandchild's hand in yours, the first bite of a ripe strawberry, or the way your old dog still greets you at the door. Let those moments land. They're not a cure, but they're a balm. And finally, step 9, finding peace in the stillness. We live in a world that's always rushing, but you've earned the right to slow down, to sit on the porch and watch the clouds drift, to rock in your chair without a plan. Stillness isn't emptiness. It's where the whispers of peace live. A friend of mine, Evelyn, spends 10 minutes every morning just being. No TV, no phone, no to-do list. She lights a candle, closes her eyes, and breathes. Sometimes she prays. Sometimes she cries. Sometimes she just listens to the hum of the refrigerator. She says, "It's like giving my soul a chance to catch up." You don't need candles or mantras. Just a few minutes to let your heart and mind rest. To remember, you are still here. You are still worthy of peace. If there's one thing I want you to take from our time together, it's this. Healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about making room for grief, for love, for new joys you can't yet imagine. You've weathered storms that would break most people, and yet, here you are, still standing, still capable of hope. So, as we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What small step resonated most? Maybe you've already started a ritual, or maybe you're still mustering the courage to try. Share your story in the comments below. Let's create a space where no one has to grieve alone. And if this video brought you even a moment of comfort, consider liking it or sharing it with someone who might need it too. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're here to walk beside you, every step of the way. Remember, dear friend, your life is still a story being written. There will be days when the grief feels fresh, and days when the sun shines a little brighter. Through it all, be gentle with yourself. You're not just surviving, you're learning to live again. And that's nothing short of brave. Here's to your courage, your resilience, and the peace that's waiting to unfold, one quiet moment at a time.